In the early 1920s, Lubbock was just about big enough to be a small town with a population of just over 4,000 people. However, the little city was poised on the brink of a great era of growth and expansion. In 1923, the first major opportunity for Lubbock to leap forward occurred. Governor Pat Neff signed Senate Bill 103, establishing Texas Technological College. Construction began in 1924, and in September of 1925, the college opened with an enrollment of 1,000 students. It is no coincidence that the city's first bus service was established the same year. While the creation of Texas Tech received all the headlines, a much more important change was underway. During the 1920s, South Plains farmers steadily increased their production of cotton. The rise of cotton as a profitable cash crop stimulated economic development. Not to be overlooked is the economic importance of the seasonal migrant laborers who came to the plains. They spent their paychecks in town, and merchants prospered as a result of these seasonal Saturday go-to-town customers. The combined economic impact of Texas Tech and the booming cotton economy allowed the city to pull ahead of its neighbors. Lubbock's location at the center of a network of railroads and highways also helped the city grow. In 1930, the population of the city was over 20,000 people. The Great Depression came to America in 1930 and lingered throughout the decade. In Lubbock, growth slowed, but did not stop completely. The Hotel Lubbock was built in 1926. Then 6 more stories were added in 1929. There was no more elegant and attractive hotel in the entire Southwest than the Caprock Hilton. Completed in 1931, the same year a majestic new Lubbock High School and new county jail were added to the Lubbock skyline. The next year, a new post office and federal building was completed near the county courthouse. As the Depression deepened, federal government aid projects made up a significant part of the economy in the mid-1930s. Curbs and sidewalks downtown, structures, roads and bridges, and a swimming pool at the new McKenzie State Park, and a host of other projects kept Lubbock workers employed. Not only did the economy suffer in the 1930s, Mother Nature made a bad situation worse. The dirty 30s were just that. Years of drought, beginning in the late 1920s, led to horrific dust storms in the 1930s. Farms were blown out, crops destroyed, and everyone suffered. As the pace of modern life picked up in the 1930s, new technology began to be seen and heard in remote places like Lubbock. The growth of the aviation industry caught the imagination of local citizens, and the city established an airport north of town in 1930. Perhaps no new gadget or technology was more popular than the radio. Commercial radio was a new industry. KFYO, Lubbock's first local radio station, was established in April of 1932. Local radio stations provided news, weather, and the farm report. As the 1930s drew to a close and the Depression receded, the South Plains agricultural economy prospered once again. People had enough money for a few extras, and they often used it to go to the movies. The Palace Theater was a popular destination in the 20s and 30s. The most impressive and elaborate movie house in Lubbock was the Lindsay Theater, opened in 1940. Perhaps the crowning achievement of the 30s, at least for many Lubbockites, was a state championship in football won by Lubbock High in 1939. In early 1941, the biggest news was rain, rain, rain. More than 40 inches fell, making 1941 the wettest year on record since record-keeping began in 1911. World events would soon wash over the city. As World War II broke out in Europe, Lubbock, a seemingly isolated little city of 31,000 people, was altered forever by the effects of the conflict. Once America entered the war in December 1941, Lubbock citizens did their part for the war effort. In 1941, Lubbock Army Airfield was established on land several miles west of the city. In 1942, the U.S. Army took over Lubbock Municipal Airport for the new South Plains Army Air Force Glider School. Thousands of pilots trained at these facilities during the war. The needs of the war led many migrants to become permanent residents of the city. Hispanic workers tended to live east of Avenue Q and north of 4th Street in an area that became known as Guadalupe. African Americans lived east of Avenue C in the areas known as the Flats and Queen City. Dr. J.A. Chapman opened Chapman Hospital in 1945 to provide health care for the growing minority community. By the mid-1940s, Lubbock was a bustling, growing city of about 60,000 people, poised to make even greater strides during the next half-century.